The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
I would like to begin this episode with a word from our sponsors at Crown Royal Apple. I'm kidding. This episode is not brought to you by Crown Apple, but I am, because Jesus Christ, this movie. Hi, Devin.
Is so bad. Oh, where to fucking begin? I don't know.
Before we get too deep, hi everybody. This is Nerd Academy Movie Club. I'm your host, Jarod, the Dark Jedi Bachman Subs, and joining me as always is the illustrious and incomparable Devin Armel.
Let's go. Let's run with this. Battlefield
This
Earth.
week, yes, we are continuing So Bad It's Good week, and oh boy, this was I was numb. I was numb when we hit stop. I just got to the point where, like, the movie, how do I put it? It's like, it was so stupid, but it didn't have that, like, aggressive level of stupidity where it overwhelms you with how funny it is, like The Room. This has gotten much funnier the more I thought about it.
Just like how nothing works.
Nothing works. Everything's insane.
Like, the world that they built doesn't make sense, especially with how they use things in the world later in the plot, such as jets and like machine guns. Like, presumably, before we get into numbers or anything like that, presumably the year takes place in 3000. Sorry, the year is 3000 in this movie. Cool.
Been to the year
Everything
3000.
looks like the cars that we see in the destroyed city, the buildings that we see, everything looks like it's from like the 2000s, like when the movie came out. Cool.
Mankind's been extinct for 1,000 years.
1,000 years. So shit's not gonna work, dude. Like, the jets shouldn't have worked. You shouldn't have been able to get them started. You shouldn't have known how to do any of that. The guns shouldn't have worked. Like, even like they have a diluted version of like humanity itself, like the gods or the stars above us. Like, we have completely lost our way. We've completely fallen apart. Like, we don't know, but we still have common phrases like "that's a piece of cake," and just all this horrible things.
Before we get too deep, Devin, do you have some numbers for me?
I do have some numbers, guys. The movie came out May 12th, 2000. It has a 2.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It has a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 9% on Metacritic. The budget of this movie was a generous $73 million, and the gross earnings of the movie was just under $30 million. So 43 short of the budget. Bit of a kick to the nuts there.
Oh,
Movie stars John Travolta. It's a flop and a
flop.
half. Movie stars John Travolta, Barry Pepper, Forrest Whitaker, and Kim Coates. The director is Roger Christian. Story by Ron Hubbard. Screenwriters David Shapiro and Corey Mandel. And it actually won several awards. At the Golden Raspberry Festival, it won Worst Picture. And at the Dallas Fort Worth Film Critics Association Award for Worst Film. Presumably of 2000.
So, Devin, during the audio commentary for our patrons, I kept teasing you that I had a piece of info about the production of this movie.
Yeah, I'm
that
beyond
makes
curious.
Everything we've experienced infinitely funnier. You know how you said that the story was by one L. Ron Hubbard?
Yep.
Are you familiar with what else L. Ron Hubbard is responsible for? L. Ron Hubbard is the founder of the Church of Scientology. This movie is essentially the Scientologist version of The Passion of the Christ.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh.
From what I understand, Travolta, who has a production credit on it, was dying to make this movie a reality because he is such a devout Scientologist. And then this is what we got.
As someone that's not overly familiar with Scientology,
boy.
I'm curious about the relationship between Battlefield Earth and the Cyclos to what they're trying to tell us now about the modern day religion in Scientology.
As somebody who knows more about Scientology than I wish I did, L. Ron Hubbard, its founder, was already like a sci-fi author when he established the Church of Scientology.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. So if my somewhat rusty familiarity with Scientology is accurate, this movie and the actual religion itself aren't that closely linked outside of the fact that this was based on a novel written by Hubbard.
I didn't know it was a part of Scientology to have Dutch angles for everything ever. And
see, whenever you're going clear, you gotta,
yeah.
But yeah, that's a fun little nugget to just keep in mind.
And like a sexist alien race that's like uncooperatively cliche. And dude, what the hell? Like, John Travolta cared a lot. I think he cared a lot. I really do. As he and Forrest Whitaker, the only Cyclos that don't look like some weird werewolf in transition with like a dash of Predator in there. And like
a little bit of like Rastafarian Coyote Mundi going on.
Yeah, like I don't know if there was a genuinely interesting thing about this movie. This it kind of got cool. Thank God there wasn't like a huge romance in it, or I would have oh my God.
Oh, can you imagine how poorly written this is? Just trying to go all the way in on Johnny and woman. It would have been miraculously bad.
I think the only part of the movie I kind of enjoyed was no, not even that. I did kind of like whenever Johnny learned their language, that there was that moment in the movie when it was clear that John Travolta and Johnny were talking to each other and everyone else was confused by it because we heard it in English, and then it relied on our smarts to realize that he knows the language and that's how they're talking that way. That was the only movie doesn't think that we're dumb moment.
Or the movie itself is remarkably dumb.
Yeah.
So
that was the briefest intellectual moment I feel like I could just nitpick for.
I'm glad you said nitpicking, because I try so badly not to do the cinema sinsy bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't like doing the, oh, well, why was there electricity in this room? And all that kind of shit. It's just, you suck the fun out of shit, even if something's bad.
It drains you, dude, to get to that point.
Here, there's so much just insanely dumb shit that you can't not start to ding, 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 ding.
Huh? all
Like,
of these moments of just pain. But go for it.
like the fact that the Cyclones are knowledgeable enough about Earth's past to know that we hunted animals for sport, but do not know that off the top of their head, rat isn't a human delicacy. And that even though they're like, oh, well, man animals could never do X, Y, Z. They can't mine. They can't this. They are aware of like human antiquity because they are constantly around human antiquity. They take him to that ancient library. He says humans put up a fight against us for 9 minutes before we sent them to oblivion. So they're aware of the fact that man animals, the humans, are capable of like working with tools and working together and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But also man animals mining.
It doesn't. Yeah, the consistency isn't there. Even with the cinematography, we watched color schemes change in front of our eyes a couple times, and
it went from just having like kind of like a neutral brownish orange base to like out of nowhere it was fucking green,
environment
like
didn't change.
obscenely green.
They just wanted us to like maybe feel something different or recognize intensity.
And again,
Didn't work.
Not to mention there is also some like the criminally bad green screen here. Like somebody starts to fall or someone gets thrown off a cliff or some dumb shit like that.
The cliff one was really bad. The cliff one, oh my God.
That might be some of the worst green screen I've ever seen.
On a $73 million budget in 2000, you can do better.
You can do better.
You can do better.
There's
in an hour and 57-minute long movie, you can do better. You didn't think we'd
all of the
notice.
special. I'm so just befuddled on where the budget went.
Yeah, like it couldn't have been in the costume design. It couldn't have been in paying a huge cast. I mean, other than Forrest and Travolta, like.
And I feel like
Okay.
Travolta, since this was a bit of a passion project, probably wasn't asking for that much.
Yeah, and he was a producer on the damn thing. So, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any. Where did the $73 million go? It
Like,
couldn't have been to the
some
guys
set
in charge of
design,
background actors.
I can imagine some set design, but like the special effects weren't there. The blaster bolts looked abysmal. Like there's a scene. I have a sneeze coming on. There's a scene where Johnny gets shot and we don't even see the bolt. We just hear the sound.
Bless
Pardon me. Thank you. You want to turn
Huh?
yourself down a little bit, Devin? I'm getting my own echo.
Sure, man.
Thank you. But yeah, I don't know where any of this money went outside of just Forrest Whitaker getting a hilarious paycheck. I don't know where. And like Forrest Whitaker ends up being so accidentally hilarious in this movie in a couple points. And like he's the same kind of funny that Andre the Giant is in The Princess Bride, but it's not intentional here.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are moments with him that like feel like he's stopping just one line short of like, you want a peanut? Like that's like we almost get there with some of the like, I'm the big dumb idiot that I'm your friend. I don't know why it was Arnold, but oh my goodness. It's so
I know. I don't understand.
and it's so cliche. Everything here, like this, like it's this movie's ripping off so many amazing, good to amazing movies. Like it's got a little bit of Matrix here, a little bit of Star Wars there. Here's some Independence Day. Like it's trying to be all these things and like rip off different elements from all of these stories, but none of them come together because I don't think the people making this movie understand why those elements in those different movies worked in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just, I can forgive dumb shit in movies. You know, I can forgive, well, why does the airplane randomly have fuel in it? I don't give a shit. But for me, for me to like notice it, let it register, and then nitpick it, you have to have given me so little to gnaw on that I want to take it to that cinema sinsy place. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's just gets kind of where I ended up here. You know, I didn't buy Johnny Travolta's character is just fucking hysterical for all the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take a shot every time a scene with the Cyclos ends with them just going, you're going to be fucked up before the halfway mark.
It's like a part of their culture to just be like backstabbers and like,
right? They're just so cartoonishly evil with everything.
Like consistently teasing each other about like power or information, and then eventually just pulls the rug out or leverage. Oh my God, take a shot every time that word's said. Just, and it wasn't even used correctly all the time. Like, whatever, nitpicking.
It was just every time. Okay, so like you were saying, for some reason they portray the Cyclos as being inherently like weirdly deceptive all the time. Like part of their whole, like you said, culture is the idea of like, I'm just going to screw you over or screw with you. Cause
every character felt like a Starscream, but to no Megatron. Like no backbone.
That is so profound and correct. All Starscreams and no Megatron.
The human plan was kind of cool. John Travolta buying
insane,
the fact that they had
cool.
a way to make gold bars. All right. And like,
that was another thing. He's presented as this like master manipulator, strategist. And then like Johnny just goes, we figured you would not accept anything less, or we figured you wouldn't accept something as unrefined as just raw ore. And Travolta's like, yes. Like what?
Why was gold so important?
I want to know why. Like what? How do you think they smelted this? Like y'all were convinced. They had to watch Johnny use a gun.
Yeah.
For Travolta to be convinced they could mine, like hard manual labor, swinging a pickaxe, shit like that. They needed to be convinced of that. But Travolta's like, okay, well, I'm sure out in the middle of this cave with no real resources beyond the technology of a bungee cord and a pickaxe, you managed to find a way to smelt this gold.
Whatever. And like, whenever Johnny's first, I guess, captured, and he like steals the one Cyclo's gun and shoots him with it, and the one other Cyclo's telling John Travolta, and he's just like, I don't believe you. I want to see it for my own eyes. And the other Cyclo's like, but sir, if I do this, he'll probably shoot me. Meanwhile, Johnny's like fidgeting with the gun for no reason, like could have killed all three of them. Just blah, blah, blah. but chooses to wait until the other Cyclo reaches for it, and then he shoots him. And like, nothing was ever clearly depicted until about an hour and a half into the movie. Then it wasn't so aggressively edited that I think in the back half of the movie, I could at least visually perceive what's going on, other than just relying on like, okay, I understand the concept of this scene. But like, dude, for the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was like physically nauseous. I was like constantly just like, okay, now I can see the screen. Okay. And like, I don't understand the creative decisions. I don't understand the story decisions, the character development, lack thereof. And I don't know. I feel like I sigh a lot during these reviews because I just don't know what to say anymore. There's a reason why this movie has a 3%. It's egregiously obvious.
I want to run through John Travolta's plan. Like, I just want to wrap my brain around it. Like, okay, so they decide that he's according to him, he was being trained to conquer galaxies while Forrest Whitaker was learning to write his name. Okay. So that's established that he's like, he was born and bred to be a warrior, but he's stuck being one of the administrators of this mining operation happening on planet Earth. The planet ship, which I guess is just the regional manager or whatever the fuck, shows up, and Travolta is under the impression that he is going to be relieved of his duties on Earth so that he can go do more important jobs within whatever the Cyclos are.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's a corporation. Like, they talk about it like it's a corporation, but they also talk about it like it's some type of empire. I don't know. That's actually one of the most interesting parts of the movie, is right before they put Johnny in the learning machine, the hologram of the other species that has been subjugated and conquered
Totally
by the
missed that.
Cyclos. He comes out and his whole thing is like, I am but a mere inferior species, and I am graced with the pleasure and privilege of teaching you about Cyclo history and Cyclo knowledge, and imparting this knowledge unto you that I am not worthy of as this lowly being and not a Cyclo, but I get to teach you about the Cyclos because I'm so privileged, and we were lucky to be conquered and exterminated by them. And that whole thing's going on. It's like, oh, okay, like, I like me some space fascists. That's always a fun thing to do with your movie. I like space Nazis are a fun trope. I like it. And sometimes I side with them, sometimes I don't. Depends on how cool their laser sword is. But beside the point, the planet ship comes down and informs John Travolta that basically he's going to be stuck on Earth indefinitely.
Yeah.
Now, we also are never kind of like informed on what the Cyclo lifespan is. Not that that's necessarily like a crucial detail. Like, I don't need to know like the average lifespan of a Cyclo, but I think it would help us understand how much of a kick in the dick, like 50 cycles more with indefinite opportunities to renew. Like, clearly that's a bad gig.
Yeah, that's.
But how bad of a gig is it for Travolta? We find out that apparently he nailed the daughter of some other higher up in the Cyclo Ponzi scheme, whatever the hell it is. Which, like, is so stupid. I don't need that to be the reason he's screwed over here. Like, let him be a villain. Let him be like really ambitious, and he wants like control over the operation on Earth, or he's vying for some type of attention and a reward for what he's doing. But it's just this like lazy kind of stupid, like you fuck President Cyclo's daughter or whatever the hell, and now you're getting hit with a ban hammer to stay on Earth for forever.
Yeah.
Or maybe not forever. We don't know.
Job of the Cyclones, just like 50 cycles.
Anyway. So now being screwed over and being stuck on Earth, he either wants to make the most of it, do something so incredible that he gets let out of it, or something in between. I could not tell. So he starts like enacting a series of weird mini schemes to do mini blackmails on everybody there, to then enact a big scheme where like he falsifies footage of him plotting with Forrest Whitaker so that he has leverage over Forrest Whitaker, and then he like gets footage of the planet ship agreeing to a fucked up deal so that he has leverage over the planet ship, and they have all these informants and the bartender's in on it, and then there's like this terrifying lady with a terrifying CGI tongue, and like her cone head prosthetic isn't correctly secured.
Oh my god, the second time that she's like on screen, like the second scene, that was one of the worst. Like, I've done better shit in my stage makeup class at school than
I believe it.
Than like the Pepsi bottle 2-liter cut in half, spray painted like a fair skin tone and taped to her forehead. Just I don't know if that was just like meant to be finished in post and someone just like forgot, or
there's a couple people whose like head is just weirdly not completely glued down. But then Forrest Whitaker's the most human looking one as well. Like they don't hamper him down with like, you know, giving him 13 necks and a snout and like the crazy forehead or anything, or the crazy eyebrows. I mean, he has crazy eyebrows, but like, you know, he doesn't have eyebrows or a mustache to go all the way off of his face the way that the planet ship does, the way the Forrest Whitaker does. Like, clearly it was just, you know, you don't obstruct his face. The same reason why Robert Downey Jr. is not wearing his helmet for any poster on or any of like the Avengers posters, because they want to be able to show RDJ's face.
Mm-hmm.
That shit. Like, same basic principle here, but like, this movie's already a vanity project and a bad one. So the fact that they're like, well, we're not going to put you in too much makeup. We're going to put you on these horrific giant ass boot stilts. But don't worry about having your face obstructed, Johnny.
Yeah, we're going to raid James Simmons' closet and let's put you all in 6-inch tall boots.
I want to rock and roll and cyclone every day. But anyway, you take Johnny, who is believed to be a higher than average intelligent man animal, aka human, because he was able to shoot a guy, and they decide that they're going to put him in a learning machine so that Johnny can learn the Cyclone language so that they can have a man animal to directly instruct. And then Johnny and John Travolta just keep double crossing each other. And at no point does John Travolta go, oh no, maybe I made him too smart to be easily controlled, and I've created somebody who's going to stage a coup and blow my home planet to hell, which he does.
Yeah.
Using gold from Fort Knox that has not been tampered with or harmed by the elements.
That vault was
Fighter
pristine. The museum, not the museum, Fort Knox itself, like the rest of the base, fantastic condition. Looked beautiful.
Yeah. All the planes, just fine. Jet fuel's fine. All the weapons and ammunition is fine. Everything's fine to be used in a full-scale war.
They even have fucking walkie-talkies.
It takes them a week to train a bunch of fucking Tarzans how to fly a fighter jet. And adequately. To the point where they are like kicking ass in a dogfight with Cyclone starfighters. Like, it's just, again, I normally wouldn't care about this kind of shit. I wouldn't. But the movie is just so weird and tries so little that I can't not latch onto it. Like, if Johnny was a compelling protagonist,
yeah,
like if he was an interesting character, I cannot tell you how much of this shit I would have forgiven. Just because I know that's how I am with movies. If he's like, if I get like big Captain America energy from him, and he feels like a leader, like a hero, he is going to lead humanity to salvation to defeat this alien menace. I can forgive the cavemen learn how to fly fighter jets in a week. And stupid shit like that. Why? Because he's that good of a leader. He's that much of a hero. He can do the impossible. I can forgive that. Maybe I am not a good moviegoer.
I mean, that would have been a positive about the movie, or maybe the only positive about the movie, if there was a strong lead that I'm not going to say Travolta was. And I honestly think if they might have just
he gave himself top billing.
Yeah. If they would have slowed down the beginning of the movie so that it wasn't just immediately like the gods took your father in his sleep, you're too late with the medicine. No! Cut to the next scene. Like, you're out with your horse and you're getting attacked, but then suddenly that's so diffused, and then now you're in a shopping mall, but then there's an alien there. And then like they die in just horrible fashion, and then you're captured, and then blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah.
Who did I say the bigger guy looked like?
Alex Jones.
That's right. Yeah, it was Alex Jones and Viggo Mortensen. Discount Viggo Mortensen. And I just want to go back to the beginning real quick with Johnny. Like, there's that hysterically, weirdly edited just, you're too late with the medicine. Your father was taken by the gods. The camera's cutting around him all weird. No! Throws the rock into the, like you were saying, like, again, Star Wars wipe. Then we have him arguing with the chieftain.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fights, again, Viggo Mortensen and Alex Jones, who are just straight up monkey men. Like, the fact that everybody, all the human/man animals in this movie who speak proficient English, or maybe not it's English, but it is a unified language of human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, still have turns of phrases like piece of cake and shit like that. Like, that's all still on the table. But when we first meet Viggo Mortensen, when he and Alex Jones confront Johnny, he's got the spear. And he's just like, Like, he sounds like a fucking monkey. Why? Why do the monkey shit if he's going to turn around and we're going to find out he actually knows more about the past of humanity than Johnny does? Like, why do the monkey shit?
I guess to show how broken humanity's become, but it still like doesn't work.
The movie can't pick between humanity got blown back to the Stone Age and like human resistance.
Yeah, like These people all had to have come from somewhere. There was a human resistance, not a resistance, but a group of survivors. But like over 1,000 years, the culture, the history, everything was horribly preserved to where we have like you said, these Tarzan men running around and nothing makes any sense. And it's just hilariously inconsistent and frustrating to watch. So is there anything else we haven't touched on yet?
I'm trying to think. Everybody gets like quadruple crossed in John Travolta's weird scheme. I'm
Nobody
still trying to
wins.
make it. Nobody wins. I mean, the humans win, and then like
Okay,
John
sure, but,
Travolta
like,
ends up in a cage. Forrest Whitaker like defects to the human side, and he's like, "You finally got your gold." And John Travolta's like, "I finally taught you how to secure leverage." It's so I really truly don't understand this movie, and I hope that John Travolta's ashamed of it.
oh, I'd have a hard time with the concept of him having like a poster of Battlefield Earth in his house.
Just because I know it's L. Ron Hubbard's story, like there's a part of me that's like, I hope you offended everybody in your strange, terrifying little club by making such a dog shit movie out of his story.
Should have just had Tom Cruise be Johnny.
That would have ended his career.
I don't know. Forrest was able to bounce back.
He had a supporting role. He was in the background of this. I don't think Tom Cruise's career would have survived Battlefield Earth. I feel like Travolta's barely has. Like, what movies post 2000 was he in that were good?
Wild Hogs with Tim Allen, and it was funny. I'm not gonna say it was great, but it was funny.
Okay. Any others that you can think of? A Bolt.
I can't believe they let him anywhere near Disney after that. Was that Pixar?
It was a Disney one.
Yeah, it was Disney. All right.
We're using the Google machine. I want to see how many good movies Travolta made his way into somehow post Battlefield Earth.
I'm looking it up too.
John Travolta movies. All right. Filmography.
None of these movies were very good. Old Dogs with Robin Williams was kind of funny.
All right, yeah. So we get to 2000.
There's like 2 or 3, like I'd say decent movies that I've seen. Most of these I have not seen.
The first Punisher movie's fine, but he plays the villain in it. Okay, Hairspray. I'll give him Hairspray. Oh my God, do you remember Gotti? Do you remember that? Do you remember that whole controversy with Gotti? Mm-hmm. So it got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it was like the flagship movie that like it was basically the only movie MoviePass had left to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And it got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. So then it went on like a campaign to like discredit Rotten Tomatoes reviews of it. It was very funny. The Fanatic is incredible, but it's also really bad.
All right, buddy.
But, yeah, I think that's all we have.
Final thoughts and agreed. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
You can go first, bud.
Final thoughts. I just don't think it should have been made. I don't. Like, knowing how long it takes to make a feature film, probably somewhere around like the 3-4 month mark, maybe even 2 if they were just like, fuck it, let's just like, go ahead, John, make your movie, whatever. To have consistently let this go on, and every single day someone looked at the cinematographer and was just like, should you really tilt the camera again? It's just, I don't think this movie should have been made. And
you made a
like,
very good point in the audio commentary where you were like, I want to see the dailies for this.
I just like, I don't understand. Like, Scientology or not, director or not, John Travolta's influence or power over the whole movie or not, I don't understand how it was consistently shot day after day. This movie gets a fucking F. My first one dished out. I don't like it. I couldn't handle it. There were some parts I was laughing at, but again, it was just like WTF moments, and like that one moment with the language that I thought that they didn't think the audience were idiots. So, how about yourself?
This is definitely this is a wretchedly bad movie. And I will say that I feel like having multiple people in the room to watch it and gawk at it is the only way this movie is worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, skip it and watch our review, watch somebody else make fun of it on YouTube. Let other people watch this for you. Because I sincerely mean, even in the context of so bad that it's good month, I sincerely wish I left this one to YouTube. I am also giving Battlefield Earth an F.
Jarod, where can our absolutely incredible fans find you?
I like to go last because then it's easier to dovetail into the network.
Guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Devin J. Armel, and you can follow me on Twitter at Devin Armel1. Looking forward to watching more bad movies, and like hopefully you guys are on board to watch the commentaries with us because I think they've been pretty fun so far.
Yeah, we got one more from So Bad It's Good Month. We got Cat in the Hat, which I feel like is gotta be fun. I don't know.
I'm excited for next week, man.
Yeah. I hope it's worth our time. I really hope this one is as entertaining as I think it will be. Because, like, The Room didn't disappoint.
No, it did not at all.
Battlefield Earth
did.
I wish I picked a different movie. I'm being completely honest. I wish I picked a different movie for us. Cat in the Hat.
And
it might be a winner. I feel like Cat in the Hat's going to be a winner. I feel like we got it going on with that one. And then next month we're doing the original Star Wars trilogy. So
thank God.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah.
That's going to be the arc for this show, like every year. Like we're going to hit April. We're just going to like deliberately huff paint cinematically. And then wash it down with Star Wars.
Speaking of Star Wars, how about some handles over there?
You guys, that was slick. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page, where you get this show a week early. You get access to our audio commentaries at the $5 tier. You got to be a $10 patron to get early access. But speaking of our $10 patrons, thank you to our alumnus, Case and Brion, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach and House. You guys help us make the content that we love to produce. Also on the $5 tier, along with our audio commentaries, we have the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series, where this month we did Executor Cedrus versus the Grand Inquisitor.
Ooh.
In May, we are doing Galen Merrick versus Mara Jade. And on Heroic History 101, I promise at some point Travis and I are going to read the new 52 Justice League premiere. We're going to do it. I mean it. Be sure to check out the Nerd Academy TeePublic. Go ahead, click the student store link on our website and it'll take you right to it. Or you can look up TNAP or Nerd Academy on TeePublic and it'll take you there as well. Anyway, that is all we have for you guys this week. Thank you all so very much for listening. And fucking